And we're live. We're live. Okay, give me one moment. Let me make sure that you guys can, if you are on right now and you can hear me, my raspy smoker voice, please let me know. Let me go ahead and send out a link to my guest. You guys are going to love this one. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Do we have anyone on? Can you guys hear me? Let me go to the comments. I'm not seeing. If you guys are on right now and you can actually hear me, please let me know in the chat. Oh, it says comments are not supported on private videos. Let me go. I don't know why this is private. Let me go ahead and look on my phone. Could just be a weird thing. Hold on. Let me go to the app. Hang on. Oh, there we go. You guys are on right now and you can actually hear me. Please let me know in the chat. There we go. Beautiful. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? We've got, let me just see who we got here. We got Tanner. What's up, Tanner? We've got Faz SMMA. Hopefully we can change that to Faz Rank and Rent, Faz Digital Real Estate, Faz Dre. Aaron Vogler, what's up, dude? Wesley Ford, what's up? Tanner says he can hear me. Daniel Kong, what's going on, dude? Dover says, woo, good to be here, Nick. Glad to have you guys on. Okay. Carmen can hear me as well. Guys, I got a really fun show planned for you guys today. It's not just going to be me. I'm going to be bringing somebody on, somebody that I've known for years, somebody that is a master of what we're going to be talking about today. But I want to just share a few things really quick. I want to push record and I want to share a few things with you guys. And then we're going to go. And by the way, I'm going to be going between here and my phone because I don't know why the comments aren't showing up on the screen. Yeah, it's all good, Foz. It's all good. Casey Marcus, what's going on? Good to have you guys on. I really appreciate you guys being on. Let me push record and let's do this thing. Hold on. Ready? Boom. Thank you so much for the recording in progress. Okay, so guys, couple things. Number one, I'm not wearing the robe today. It's actually sitting right here. It's just getting too hot. And I don't know. I might toss it back on. I might not. But it's just getting too hot. So it's sitting in the corner. It might make a comeback. That's why it's like 110. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can really do it anymore. So that's why you're not seeing it. But you might see it next week and you might see it when it gets a little bit cold again. As you guys know, some of you guys maybe noticed, maybe you didn't. Last week, we did not. Last week was the first week. Let me back up. I also have a crappy, I sound like I'd smoked like 13 packs of Marlboros over the weekend. I've never put a single bit of smoke in my lungs and I don't know what's going on, but you're going to have to deal with it. So I'm drinking water. Been a little under the weather, a slight bit, but we're going to do this. But I just wanted to let you guys know last week was the very first week I have not done this show in almost 10 months. Okay. I've been consistently doing this. I've missed engagements. I've missed plans. I've rescheduled stuff so I could be here. I build my schedule around this call. And last week we didn't do a call. And I want to just let you guys know where that's coming from. That's not coming from being lazy. In fact, the interesting thing is the reason why my robe is sitting right there is I was actually sitting at this desk at 10 o'clock sharp. And I had the robe on, I had everything on, and I just couldn't do it. I just didn't, and I'm going to explain here in a second, but I just didn't feel like I should do the call, and I didn't. And so I was literally on the live, or I was ready to go live. I had Zoom pulled up, everything, and I didn't do the call. And the reason why, and I want you guys to know this, I've done the same thing inside of our free Facebook group, and I stopped doing the lives. I did the lives for almost 18 months inside the free Facebook group. I brought on guests. I shared nuggets. I shared stuff that cost me millions of dollars to learn, or that I paid people thousands of dollars to teach me. And I stopped doing it. And the reason why, and I need you guys to hear me, and I need you guys to learn something from this, that people do not value what they do not pay for. Okay. Period. People do not value what they do not pay for. And the second that they get something for free, they do not value it. They do not take care of it. They do not hold it dear. And so at the same time, I am an absolute proponent of giving away value for free. You guys have heard me say this: give free value, lead with free value, results in advance, blah, 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 until freaking, I've been saying this for years and I stand by this. And I still tell you guys, it's the same thing. If you guys want to win over a contract, if you want to go get a deal, heck, if you want to go and win a relationship, you have to give value up front for free. Okay. However, at the exact same time, you cannot do it forever or it loses its sizzle. Okay. And in the free group, I just got this sense of it's lost its sizzle. People are expecting me to show up, almost entitled. Where's the link? Oh, you didn't go live today? Like, dude, you're getting this for free. And so, guys, what I want to just tell you is I don't know how long I'm going to do it in here, but enjoy it while it's still here. I might finish off the 52 episodes. I might end it after this. I don't know. All I can say is that I am going to be making changes, and changes are good. I want to always be making changes, and I'm always sitting down with a pen and paper and a whiteboard and trying to figure out, like, how can we make this better? How can we do this better? How can I add more value to you? I'm ready to be consistent. I've always been consistent, but I'm also going to always continuously try to find the next best thing, try to innovate, try to make this better value to you guys. And I get this sense, at least in the free Facebook group, that people, the sizzle is gone. And so if the sizzle's gone, I took it away. So we did not do, for the first time in 18 months, last Wednesday, I did not do a call in the free group. So that said, I just want to let you guys know, if this at some point ends, it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because we don't want to be consistent. This has just been on my calendar. It's not that crazy for me to do. In fact, it's easy for me to keep doing, but at the same time, I need to practice what I preach. And if you give somebody five leads, 6 leads, 7 leads, that's fine. I like to stop at 5, but at a certain period of time, at a certain number of leads, it no longer has that like punch. And all of a sudden, business owners, they start to get entitled, and they start to not even answer the phone. And they start to, oh, I don't know if I can meet with you on a Zoom call, even though you've given them 5 leads. And so I got that sense big time in the free Facebook group. I do appreciate you guys that are on right now. And so I just want to let you know, there's going to be changes made, but it's not for the reasons that you probably think. It's because I don't believe people value what they do not pay for. Okay. So that said, guys, as always, I forgot to turn on the freaking AC. Give me 10 seconds. I'm going to bring on our guest. Let me say one more thing, though. Guys, I'm going to be making some radical changes. In all areas of my life, but especially inside of this, on this channel, inside of my Facebook group, my Discord channel, inside of my program. And so what I'm going to do is, here in just a second, and at the end, I'm going to share a link. I just did this in the free Facebook group, but if you are somebody that's on this call right now and you're on the fence, like, oh yeah, maybe I'll get in his program, whatever. And by the way, you don't have to. You can continue to just consume the free stuff that I put out. But if you are on the fence right now, I would highly recommend that you fill this out, because we are going to be making some radical changes. I'm not going to go into complete detail, but it will make sense very soon. And my only, or the thing I want to tell you is that if you're on the fence, now would be the time. And I don't want somebody coming back and saying that I didn't warn them, I didn't tell them. So that's that. Give me 10 seconds to turn on the AC. I always forget. Hold on. Okay, guys, thank you for being patient. All right, that said, guys, let me do this really quick on the channel. Give me just a moment. And if my guest, if you're listening right now, I am almost ready to have you on. Just give me one moment so I can share this. But what I'm going to do, guys, I am going to give you guys this link, because big changes are coming. I'm excited about it. I really, really am excited about it. Oh, I can't even comment. What is going on, dude? I don't know why it says my videos are private, but it's letting you guys comment on here. So I'll do it on my phone. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link. Share, copy. This is the same one I just shared in the Facebook group. I'm going to go over to the channel and I'm going to comment. Tanner says, I really dislike free social groups. Totally agree. Okay, there's the form. Beautiful. Okay, guys, let's do this. I'm excited about today. What we're going to be talking about is something I really enjoy this topic, and it's because I've made a lot of money from what we're going to be talking about today. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about how to land inbound deals through personal branding. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, the best deals, the juiciest deals, the easiest deals, the most low maintenance deals I ever get are inbound. They're the ones where I get somebody reaching out to me. Hey, I saw your post. Can you help me with this? Hey, I talked to so-and-so, my buddy so-and-so, he's been working with you. Can you get me leads in this area, in this business? Okay. These deals are the easiest, most low maintenance, juiciest. You don't even have to stress over them. Inbound traffic, inbound leads, inbound deals are the absolute holy grail of any business. Okay. And today, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about how to bring in inbound leads into your agency, into your rank and rep business using personal branding. And for those of you that are like, oh, I hate social media, I hate that. So do all of us. So do all of us. In fact, as I'm speaking to you right now, my Instagram account, you won't find it. My personal Instagram account is unfindable. I deactivated it. I needed a 30-day detox from all of that stuff. I do have a Facebook page still active because I have to have it to run my business. I do not currently have a social media, an Instagram. It's gone. I have my business one, but my personal one, and then I have one for my Africa stuff. Those are both deactivated for 30 days. Okay. So I hate it as much as you do. Sometimes you probably see my posts and go, man, this guy loves it. No wonder. No, I would just as soon turn it off and not even do it at all. Okay. So for those of you that are going, I don't want to do social media. That's fine. But I'm just here to tell you that you're missing out on a lot of money. Okay. So guys, a little backstory to why we're talking about this. I'm going to bring our guest in and I'm going to blow your minds with what we're going to share today. I was the guy from the beginning. Okay. I was the guy that was, hey, and I grew up as the person that was taught, don't talk about yourself, just do it and show people how good you are through your actions, right? Don't boast. Don't be the guy that's talking about stuff. Just do your thing and be the best. And that's how you, and I think that works. And it really worked in the back in the day. And so when I started into business, I had no intention of being loud on social media or talking on social media or posting on social media. I didn't want to have to create the brand and have the logo and have I thought that stuff was retarded. I didn't like it. And you can ask anyone that knew me at that time. I was the guy that said, you don't need a website to make $1 million in this business, even though ironically you are building websites and selling leads from those websites. You don't need a website to make $1 million. You don't need to have a brand. And I was the proponent of that. And the reason that was the case is like, I saw everyone else pushing so hard to have agency websites and whatever, their little marketing company. And it was like disgusting to me. And I was like, oh, I want to do this without doing that. And so I had this pride in my heart, like I'm going to build a 7-figure business without even having a website, without even anyone knowing my company name. And I'm going to do it based on results. Okay. Now, the irony is I actually pulled it off. I'm not here to like confuse you, but I'm going to explain this, but I actually pulled it off. I did not have a website. I did not have any branding, any personal branding, any company branding. I think I had a logo, but we by no means did the name of my company ever sell anybody on anything. Okay. But you got to hear this. Although I achieved that in 2020, number one, I burned out. I burned out so hard from December to the end of the first quarter and into quarter two, almost finishing quarter two of 2021. I couldn't even open Weebly. I couldn't even think about this business. I could barely get myself to go to the gym and drive around and make a couple phone calls. I burned out, okay? Because I had to do so much work, and every single deal I had to go out and I had to do this process and I had to go and earn that deal. I didn't have anything coming to me within reason. Obviously I had one or two, but I didn't have an inbound strategy, okay? So I burned out. The second thing, and that's why I'm talking about it today, guys, I know now, because I have been doing personal branding, because I have been making an effort, that I left millions of dollars on the table. And I'm talking about millions so far, and probably millions that are going to in the next few years, because I didn't do what we're going to talk about today. In the last 15 months, I have made a simple commitment. Okay, you guys got to hear this. In the past 15 months, I have made one simple commitment. Put out one piece of valuable content per day. That's it, on YouTube. And literally from that, guys, I have made over 7 figures on doing one piece of content on YouTube every single day. Okay. So and you guys have probably seen, I've obviously started doing more than that. I've started adding this and doing that and putting it on TikTok, but I have never missed, to my knowledge, we have put out one piece of content minimum on YouTube every single day for 15 months. And it has made me over 7 figures. Okay. And I sit here and I go, imagine if I had done that. Imagine if in 2016, when I got into this business, what if I was putting out a piece of content for all of 16, 17, 18? Imagine what my channel would look like. Imagine the content I'd get to go look at. Even if it wasn't good, I could go back and I could use that content to show how far I've come. And I could show you how bad I was and how good I am now, and how good I am in the future compared to how I am now. And I just sit here and I go, man, in 2020, I was so prideful that I was like, don't build a website, don't build a brand. And I left so much money on the table, and I caused myself so much extra. I created so much extra work to get to that million because I didn't have inbound traffic. Okay. So guys, that said, I personally believe if you do not have a plan in place in 2023, and a focus and a strategy to put out consistent content that gives value to the people you're trying to target, you are literally losing thousands of dollars per week right now. And you are going to look back in a year and you're going to realize, or maybe 2 years, or maybe it takes you 3 years, you're going to look back and go, dude, that guy was right. Imagine if I had done this. I'm speaking to you as if I was in your shoes and it's 2023, 3 years ago, and somebody's telling me and trying to shake me and say, Nick, if you would just put out a piece of content every single day for the next 3 years, you have no idea how much money you're going to make. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And with that said, I'm going to bring on our guest. Give me 1 second. Hang on. Let's go. Yo, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. How are you?
Good, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, dude. How are you? How's things going?
Good, man. Good.
How was
Just got vacation.
how was the trip? You guys did like a little baby moon, right?
Yeah, it was good, man. We went down to Florida, St. Pete Beach, stayed on the beach for 7 days, brought our dog, and just kind of relaxed and chilled for the first time in a while. So it was good.
No work the whole time?
I checked Slack a little bit, but for the most part, I didn't touch my laptop. So that's always a good thing.
Dude, that's impressive. That's impressive. Well, dude, thanks for being on today. We're going to get right into it because I've had a lot of questions I want to ask you. I know we've chatted before. Let me give a little bit of an intro for anybody that's watching right now. In fact, if you guys are live right now on YouTube, drop a comment. Looks like, so Mona said, yo, Adam, must know who you are. If you guys can hear, let me know really quick. Can you hear me? Can you hear Adam before I get going? Somebody drop a comment really quick, and I'm going to give a quick intro with Adam. So Adam and I have kind of loosely known each other for about 3 years. We've been in similar groups. We both kind of had our own path into just the agency world. And we've taken slightly different paths since then. We've both had our own success. And we're going to get more into that story. Okay. They can hear us. But I want to bring Adam on because Adam took literally the exact opposite approach that I did. And in 2020, my approach was don't brand, don't have a personal website, don't do any of that stuff. I was like Mr. Prideful about that. And Adam did the exact opposite. Adam was like, he's like, I'm going to figure out how to do personal branding, and I'm going to have this consistent strategy. And he's literally built an incredible business. And we're going to get into his numbers and stuff like that with whatever he'll share, almost exclusively on personal branding. And so his focus is more on the agency side, not necessarily the rank and rent as much as me, but the principles are the same, and he's getting his business from personal branding. So Adam, why don't you just, and I know I've asked you this before because I've had you on some of these calls, but like, will you just give everyone like how you got into online and then how you got here? And then I want to just jump into some questions.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on, man. Always grateful to share my insights and things like that with your audience. But yeah, I got back into rank and rent and digital marketing in 2018. From 2018 up until 2020, I built almost 200, like right on 200 on the dot rank and rent websites. So I've done the rank and rent thing. I still have about 20 rank and rent sites that are out there, but I never really did anything in terms of actually making money with it. So I had all these different case studies. I had like the analysis by paralysis of like, I'm just going to go build this stuff, but I'm not going to sell. And, obviously lost a lot of money along the way. And then I was in medical device sales at the time. So it's kind of like the side hustle that like, I said, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm learning a skill set, but I don't necessarily need it to make money. Like a lot of people get into entrepreneurship, they're like, I got to make money right now type of thing. So I had that as kind of a crutch along the way. And then the pandemic happened and I already started to make some money and things like that at the end of 2019. Well, in 2020, I started to gain that momentum. Pandemic happens. And when a lot of people started to, take their foot off the brake, I had already had that kind of steam and I just was working all the time. And so I went from traveling all over the country to being cooped up in my home, being forced to take off work. And I just had, 8, 9, 10 hours a day to devote to it. So over that 6 to 8 week period, right after COVID hit, started making $10,000, $15,000 a month was where I capped out at before I ended up leaving my job in July of 2020. And then as I started to figure out how to get more clients, I learned personal branding almost 3 years ago. And so I started investing in that and people were like, hey, I love the rank and rent stuff, but I want you to do it for my brand and my business. And then at that time, I was 3 months removed from medical device sales. I'm like, all right, I got to make a pivot. I got to start taking that easy money and things like that. So I went in the traditional agency space, pretty much done that ever since. I was a franchise at Height Digital for 2 years, and then I just became a partner at all of Height Digital as of June 1st. So I scaled my agency from 0 to 7 figures when I made that pivot in 15 months. That book of business right now is on track to do about $2.25 million this year, with about 90% of all of that business coming from something in the personal brand.
Dude, incredible. You just answered a couple of my questions, but that's amazing. So, and one of the things I've said on this show the last couple of weeks is like, I truly do believe that depending on your situation, I think that there are multiple different ways that you can attack this. I think that, and this is what Adam's done really well is he got in, he needed to do the agency model. He needed to take those quick wins, which is exactly what I did. I needed that money. So for me, I had to take SEO deals to pay the bills. But what Adam's done that's so smart is he's built it and he's built it. And now he actually is an owner in the franchise that he was a part of. So now he has the asset piece of it that usually that model does not have. So anyway, dude, congrats. I didn't even know you were an owner in that. That's cool.
Yeah, relatively new, but yeah, coming up on 2 months.
That's amazing. I didn't know they even did that. They probably don't, but clearly you're bringing a lot of value to the table. So
yeah,
that's rad, dude. Congratulations, man. You deserve it.
Appreciate that, man.
So okay, let me just jump into a couple of these questions. When I think you kind of answered this already, but like, when did you decide that you were going to like your strategy was going to be personal branding? Because I know that there's so many different ways to go land clients. When did you sit down and go, okay, Adam, I'm going to, attract people to me and have them basically come to me through my content, through my personal branding, instead of I'm going to cold call, I'm going to email campaign. And I know you do those things, but this is your primary source. When was that, and why, or what like convinced you to do that? Because I never really knew anyone that did that successfully until you. So what was it that caused you to do that, and when?
Yeah. So basically, when I was doing this on the side, I wasn't able to go and promote everything that I was doing because I was working for somebody else. And what worked for a side hustle of like literally just paying the bills and making a couple $1,000 a month, I didn't have to go into sales and prospecting mode. Like I was pretty content with where that was at. And in medical device sales, I was really good. I managed a $25 million a year territory selling CPAP equipment. But I literally had one other competitor for our main product and two other competitors for our ancillary products. So I had to be really, really good, but I had to be just better than one or two other companies. And then we go into digital marketing where it's like, there's hundreds of thousands of options. So I was 6 weeks into doing this full time, trying to do the cold calling, the cold emailing, like all of that stuff. And it wasn't happening quick enough, right? And so I joined my first mastermind about 6 weeks in because I had no idea what I was doing in entrepreneurship. And in this mastermind, it's a typical entrepreneur mastermind, but it taught how to become the authority in whatever industry you're in, but to do that through personal branding, to create the content differently than most digital marketers do that, not to show up and throw up of the heat maps and the call rail reporting and like all of that stuff, which is important, but every marketer out there is doing that. So I just decided to take a stance in August of 2020 that I was going to follow this to a T for 6 months. That was the moment in time where I was like, all right, if I can't make this work in 6 months, then I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go back and get another job. I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. And so I started following to a T first and foremost with Facebook, of like adding the right people, commenting and sharing their stuff, providing value, and then posting every single day on my personal Facebook page twice a day at 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. with 90% of the content having nothing to do with digital marketing or marketing and only 10% having to do with digital marketing. So I started to do that. 90 days in, I got my first client that was directly impacted from that personal brand. And he's actually been a client with me ever since, up until 2 months ago, because he sold his company to a private equity firm. It was a tree service company, but they paid me $5,000 for their website. And then they paid me almost $3,000 a month for SEO and PPC for over 2 years. So that first client that I got from it, and a lot of the clients that do see the transition of my personal branding content, not only pay me, what I'm worth, most part, like I'm not having to offer discounts or things like that, or month-to-month contracts. These are long-term contracts, but the lifetime value of it is so much greater because they know me and they know my why and my purpose and why I do everything. I'm not just another digital marketer to them. I'm Adam with Height Digital that does all of these things, and I'm more connected to them, and I give back to them too, right? So I refer them business because it's a local company, but I also support them online, provide them value and all that good stuff as well.
So so to answer the question, basically you joined a mastermind, and in that they told you, hey, be the authority in your space, niche down and follow this, this strategy. And you're like, I'm going to do this for 6 months and see what happens. And within 90 days, you got your first inbound client. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, that was the first client that like I knew. So basically he added me on, or I added him on Facebook. And he reached out like after liking, commenting on my stuff, he reached out like almost 90 days in and was like, hey man, I've been watching your content. I know you're here in St. Louis. I love what you're doing. I'm looking for a new marketing company. Obviously he had signed clients before that point, but it was not like that I could pinpoint to be like, all right, that client was a direct impact to the personal branding that I was doing.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So could you give us like, and obviously we don't expect you to share everything because that was something you paid to be a part of, but like, what was the loosely speaking, what was the strategy? Was it just post 7 and 5 and make 90% of it personal and then the rest digital? Is like that the overall strategy? Obviously there's some nuances in there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was the foundation of it, right? It's also adding, like, so I'm at 5,000 or close to 5,000 friends now, but like it was adding 5 business owners a day that like were your ideal clients, and then not spamming or DMing them, but starting to interact with their content. So then that way their stuff gets out to more people as well. So really just that provide value first and sell second type of thing, that mindset of everything, which goes back to the content of like, being super, super consistent about it. I think I've missed 2 days in the last 3 years. On the weekends, I might only post once, just kind of depends, but it's all about the consistency of all this stuff. So when I've been very consistent about it, and I think with the end in mind being my ideal client is a business owner. I work with a lot of contractors, service-based businesses, as I'm sure many of the audience does here, but they're humans just like me, right? So it's treating people and meeting people where they're at, not showing up as a digital marketer. The minute that you show up as a digital marketer, you've already made it way harder for yourself. So I show up as Adam, the entrepreneur. I talk about motivation, discipline, entrepreneurship, all of those types of things. Then the other aspect is, what can you be doing to get into other people's audiences and networks? So being on podcasts, going and speaking at events, throwing your own events, just things that you can do to leverage to get more content out there, but then also leverage the networks of other people that you're providing value to, right? Because everybody wants to know, hey, like, what are you going to do for me? You have to be willing to give the value first. But once you consistently show up and you're providing value for other people, eventually they're going to be like, hey, Adam, what can I do for you? Or what are you needing from me? And then that's when you're like, perfect, X, Y, and Z. I want to be on your podcast. I want to throw an event together. I want to do a Facebook live stream. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And since then, I've gone to multiple platforms now. I've started a YouTube channel. I've started my own podcast. I've done some of those other things as well that they taught, but it took me about 1.5 years to really go on to other platforms because I was so focused on Facebook, which got me, far enough, but I needed to adapt LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those things as well.
No, it makes sense. I'm sure if you're watching this right now, and I know you've had this, Adam, the worst is when you get that friend request and then you're like, let me go ahead and check the messages because I know they have some kind of automated message sitting in there. And I actually get pissed when I see those now, the one that's like, do you need an appointment center for $0 and blah, I think the last one I got, I literally said like, does this actually work? And then and they responded, so I just blocked them. Like, so it's like, yeah, it's so true, dude. It's like, think about what everyone else is doing and do the opposite. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone's out there, like, nobody cares if you're posting. I see this all the time. You see this too, Adam, like these heat maps, right? And look at what I did for this guy. It's like, that's cool. Like once a quarter, right? But then you look at their wall, it's like every post is like their results for their business owner. People want to connect with you as Adam, as a human that has a child on the way, that has a dog, that has these insecurities, has these things that he's interested in, and he likes to golf, he like all these different things first. And then they're like, okay, I like this guy. And this guy actually like speaks my language. And that's how you win over clients on the personal branding. So I guess to skip ahead was one of my questions. For people that like want to start doing personal branding, do you recommend kind of following that same outline, even though it's a couple of years down the road, like posting twice a day, going and adding business owners every single day? Do you still think that works? Do you think that ship has sailed?
So I would say it definitely works. I'd say video content is kind of at the forefront of that. Obviously right now with Reels, all that stuff wasn't really around when I got started in it. So I would start with the content piece, whether that's video, short form content, long form content, but I would start with the videos at the forefront. I would also get super niche down with your ideal client. And, I've kept it very open as far as mostly working with home services and contractors and all of those things, which is great. But I'm going to start right now, because this is stuff that's actually taking off quicker, is if you're like, hey, I work with concrete companies that are doing anywhere between $1 and $3 million a year in revenue that want to get to 5 to 10. They have a CRM in place that, like, you can start to talk to that ideal audience. And then when you're making reels and YouTube shorts and all of those things, the algorithm and the hashtags and all of that stuff's a lot easier to pick up versus you're just talking to everybody. So I would get super dialed in on like what industries you're going after and who some of your ideal clients are, and then work that to a T with the video content specifically, but all of your content.
So true, man. And it's terrifying when you get started doing that, because you think that you're like, you're going too niche, right? You're like, no, there can't be that many concrete companies in that range. You'd be surprised. And with, an SEO deal at $3,000 a month or $2,000 a month, or a rank and rent deal at $2,000 a month or $1,500 or $2,000 or $3,000, it doesn't take you that many deals to make $1 million. Like, that's what people forget, is like, you actually don't need that many clients to get to that magical 7-figure mark, right? Dude, and I've shared this before, but like most of my YouTube content obviously is, I do have people come into me that need leads for their business, their concrete company or their mobile IV company, whatever. But like primarily my content is to bring people into my program. And that's no secret. And I'm not trying to hide that. And everybody knows that. And everyone on this call right now is looking at what should they do with their life and their business. Should they go this way or that way? But my point is, this is how niche I went, Adam. When I started my program back in 2021, I was like, okay, I'm not just going to target marketers. I'm going to target specific type of marketers. I'm going to target like people that are doing rank and rent, right? That's already a really small corner. And then I'm like, well, I'm not just going to target people that are doing rank and rent, but I'm guessing most of the people that are going to like learn from my stuff are people that, like you, that have built a bunch of websites and never made any money. So I'm going to target people who have already started building websites, but don't know how to sell them. And I was like, my corner of the internet was like this big. And I was terrified because I'm like, this is really, really small. But dude, I made so much money. I was able to help so many people in that little teeny corner. And then what you can do, and I've seen you do it firsthand, is once you master that little corner, then you can expand. And then you can tap into the next thing. Okay, now I can start talking to people who have never started a business. They've never built a website. And then I can go a little bit further. And so guys, the whole point is if you go too broad, even though on paper and in your mind, it sounds like that's the way you do it, it doesn't work. You have to go niche, and then you can expand out instead of the opposite. And I'm sure you would agree with that, Adam.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I feel like I've made, or lessons or whatever you want to call it, is not going super niche down. And so it got me to like be known as the digital marketer, but people are like, I don't necessarily know what industries or industry Adam specializes in. Now, it hasn't hindered me, but as I produce my content and as I get super clear, the reason why a lot of your stuff takes off, and I've been watching it for a while, is because when somebody literally listens to your video and your content, they're like, crap, he's literally talking to me. Not that people don't get the same type of vibe, but not necessarily for the digital marketing. They get it for my entrepreneurship stuff. And it's a roundabout way of working in. The second thing is like the fascination. And I was the same way of like getting to 7 figures and multiple 7 figures and all of those different things. Like, I'm not making, because of, the way that I'm investing and the way that I'm partnering now with High, like, I'm not making that much more money than I was at 7 figures than I will at 2.5 versus 500,000. The difference is that I now have a team. I now have an actual business that's bigger than just myself. And I think a lot of people want to stretch themselves to get to that like 7 figures and then multiple 7 figures, but they don't want to grow the team. So you can't, and I was the same way. I'm like, I'm going to stretch this as far as I can possibly go. Well, then I have far too many clients that all want Adam and my attention, because I didn't have the team built up. And so I had to scramble to build up the team and all those different things. So I think one of the points there that I learned as well is like, understand who you're going to need on your team to get to that next level or wherever you're trying to go, and stop trying to be like, man, I got to go get there on my own and then we'll figure it all out, because that's not fun either.
Yeah, I did that same exact thing, dude. 2020, I was like, how big can I go? And we did it, man. We hit that magical number, but I literally in December, I didn't even know what was happening to me. And I was like, I should be so pumped. This is like the best year of my life. And I did it. I've been wanting to do this since I was 18 years old and all this different stuff. And then, dude, I almost took off the first half of 2021. Like, as I look back, I probably worked a handful of hours. Like, it was pathetic because I was so burned out. So I totally agree, dude. It's not just about going and hitting 7 figures or going and hitting $100,000 or going and hitting 500,000. It's about building a business that you hit it and you continue to consistently hit it, and you do it without having to literally sell your soul in the process. And that's one thing you've done really well, dude, is I feel like you have a pretty good, no, I know you do, unless you've just completely got me fooled, but like, I feel like you have a very good lifestyle on top of how much money you're making. Am I right there?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it was a little bit unique because I had all of the issues with the lifestyle, making all the money in medical device sales. So I kind of saw that, like, what money can do if you're like, oh, I'm just trying to make $200,000 a year, like what you're going to have to sacrifice in corporate America. Now, I'd say the first year in entrepreneurship, basically from July 2020 till July 2021, where I really got ingrained with height, my lifestyle was all over the freaking place because I didn't have a team and I was trying to get to that 7 figures. So I was literally doing almost everything inside my business. I was working 13, 14, 15, 16-hour days sometimes, and it was not good. When I made that pivot and when I made that transition and I started to focus on myself a little over 2 years ago, that's when things started to change. I used to be so worried about everybody wanting to work with Adam and me feeling like I had to do everything inside my business because nobody could do on-site SEO better than me. Nobody could retain a client better than me. Like, all of those different things that as entrepreneurs, we feel like we're the best at. I just had to loosen the reins. Otherwise, I was always going to stay where I was at. I was always going to make some good money. I was always going to be comfortable, but I was going to be absolutely miserable. And so over the last 2 years, I've really started to focus on myself, got really back into health and fitness, relationship, obviously, with my wife, baby on the way, all these different things that I've set the foundation for me now to be like happy with Adam and super excited about where I'm going. Not just, I was always worried about the clients, man. I was like, man, I would rather have the clients be happy than me making money.
Yeah.
To a degree, you have to worry about that. But at the same time, if you're not happy, it doesn't matter what results you get for your clients, how many clients you have, or how much money you're making, it's never going to be fun.
You mentioned, and I saw a shift in your content, and I want to just briefly touch on this. And then what we'll do, guys, if you guys have questions for Adam, we'll take the last 10 minutes here in about 5 minutes. I got to see a bunch of stuff popping up. We'll get to that. If you have questions, ask it now. But I saw a big shift with you in focusing and sharing your like new focus on yourself, like you just said. And that was through, I saw some different things. Like I saw you do the 75 hard, and I saw, you started reading more books and all this stuff. So like, what, how much did that affect you in terms of like, just as a person and growing as a person? And then also sharing that content, what was the feedback that you got on, hey, I'm now focused on me and my personal development, and I'm sharing it? Like, what was the feedback on that? And then what did that do? Would you give that credit for being where you are today? Is it something that like, yeah, what was your thoughts, and are you continuing to do that? Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think, like, as entrepreneurs, we all think that whatever we're going through in any given moment, like, we're alone and that nobody else has gone through it. Like, even though we know other people have gone through it, until we actually hear that other people have gone through it or we talk with other people about it, we still feel like the world is ending and nobody else has gone through what we're doing, even though like there's hundreds of people that are literally going through it with us right now. When I started to share some of the things that like I was focused on and when I was going through, and I was going through different challenges and I was reading different books and all these things, you start to see people come out of the woodworks, right? Because they want to support people that are looking to level up in life, that are on the same path, that are focused on the exact same types of values and just the same type of mission, right? So I started to see people supporting me and all these different things. And then I started to resonate with other people. And then they start sharing my stuff and commenting on my stuff, which then gets me into access of their networks and things like that as well. So I was doing it first and foremost, just as an outlet for me to see and get validated that like, I'm not crazy. What I'm going through is real and other people are doing it and people are out there supporting me, because entrepreneurship, obviously, as we know, is like super, super lonely at times. And over the course of the last 3 years, I've lost, not necessarily say lost, but I've stopped hanging out with a ton of people. I've gotten further and further away of certain family members. And your circle is only going to get like actually smaller the more success you have, right? If you're doing it the right way, in my opinion. So it was a way for me to take advantage of that, as well as getting stuff off my chest that I felt like nobody else. I talk with my wife, but she's not an entrepreneur. She doesn't understand some of the stuff. She's there. She's supportive. That nobody else that I could just go to talk about some of this stuff, right? Inadvertently from there, that content has helped me get business, right? I had one guy literally sign up with us almost 2.5 years ago. I was like, man, I just saw you did 75 hard. I want to do 75 hard with you. I knew that he, owned a carpet cleaning and air duct cleaning company. He was also here in St. Louis, but I didn't try to pitch him. We did 75 hard together. And after it, he's been a client ever since, paid $5,000 for a website, $3,000 a month ever since. So when you start to do the work and you start to work on yourself, people want to surround themselves, whether they're going to be clients, referral partners, just good people to have in your network. They want to surround themselves with people that are absolutely having success, but doing life in the way that they want to be doing, right? When you're surrounding yourself with those types of people, everybody starts to level up. So it helped me. It helped me like physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, all those different types of things. But it also helped grow the business as well. It was a win-win.
That's rad, dude. That's super cool. I'm going to go through some of these comments really quick, but I do want to ask you a quick question. I would ask you this if it was just me and you on the phone. So this might be a little selfish, but for those people that will watch this, that are married and they're we see on social media, there's like the power couple and the wife's like super interested in the business. We always see the Hermoses and like, she's like a freak and actually likes business. Dude, I could come home and tell my wife, hey, I just landed a deal. Like we just brought in 50K, like just new money. She'd literally go, oh, cool. And then she'd go, so what did you want to do for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you don't understand, like 50 grand. And she's like, yeah, that's awesome. Good job. Like she doesn't care. And it's not that she's not appreciative, but like, she just doesn't get it. And at first it used to bug me, dude. I was like, you don't even know what I'm worth. You got to give me some more props than that. And then I think I heard that like Tony Robbins shared something similar, and he was like telling a similar story about how he like landed this massive client, this big A-list person, and he told his wife, and she literally kind of like shrugged it off, like, cool, good job, like I'm proud of you. And so like any advice for people that are watching this, that like they do have a spouse or significant other that maybe isn't interested in the business. They're grateful that they're doing the business, but they're not necessarily interested in learning the business or being involved in the business. How do you have that communication so that they get it and you don't get offended that they're not like wanting to just know about your clients and set goals with you and all? Like that was a tough thing for me. So do you have anything you could say on that?
Yeah, dude, I've gone through a lot of the same stuff. And so like I feel like really over the last year, things have gotten much better in terms of us understanding what she wants to know about the business and what she doesn't want to know, what I can talk to her about, like all of those different things. So the first thing I would say is like, don't force it. For like the first 2 years, I was literally trying to force it down her throat. Like you said, like, babe, we just closed a $50,000 a month deal. Like, you don't understand what this means. You don't understand what I went through. Right. And I was trying to force it. I was like, you have to understand the importance of what I'm doing. And as entrepreneurs, we always say, oh, we're doing it for our family. Like we're working 18-hour days because we're doing it for our family. We're literally working on the weekends and not hanging out with our family because we're doing it for them. And it's like the most ass backward thing is like, if we're really doing it for them, we put them first, then also align and get super clear on, hey, these are the hours that I am working and these are the hours, and putting it in the calendar. So everybody's on the same page. And then if something crazy pops up once a quarter, once a month, where you're like, hey, babe, hey kids, I have to do this. But what happens, and I would do the same thing. I'd be like, hey, babe, I'm done at 5 or 6. And then every other day I'd be like, hey, babe, I have to do this. I have to get this website. Like I have to do all these different things. Just a bunch of bullshit. So the more that you can get on the same page and not force it and be super aligned with, hey, here's what we're doing, here's when we're doing it, all those different things, it will absolutely change it. Number 2 is also asking, what exactly do you want to know? What is important to you? What's not important? And when I started to bring her into the fold on things, like, I don't know if you remember, but I actually brought her to that.
I saw her when we were at an event. I saw her. Yes.
Yeah. And so I brought her actually to, like, she sat in on some of the sessions, but she was so pissed off because I didn't really tell her like what was going on. And to be honest, like, rank and rent digital marketing isn't the easiest thing to explain to a lot of people, but like, I didn't do a good job of actually telling her. So she was super pissed off. So I didn't bring her to anything for almost the next 2 years. Well, then last year she had seen me kind of work on myself, build up the business. She knew she'd never been down to Nicaragua, but she had met some of the people when they came over to the United States from there. I brought her down to Nicaragua. Then we went to Costa Rica a couple of weeks later, and she's been to Nicaragua now another time, and Costa Rica another time. She understands what's going on now, but on her terms. And when it's important to her, it's important to her, and she wants to know. When it's not, it's not. So it just has made it a little bit easier. But I had my vision of what I wanted her to think was important and what I wanted her to know about, not actually asking her and then figuring out what her needs were around it.
It's genius, dude. That's very articulate in the way that you said that. But I guess the bottom line, guys, is it's okay if your spouse or your significant other isn't like completely interested in every aspect. Are there going to be some people that are like that? Yes. Is it the norm? No. And so I love that, just not forcing it on them, having that communication. And then it's so much easier to get work done and to succeed when like they're on your team. So I got a lot of work to do in that area. So I'm not trying to give advice. I was asking for your advice. So thank you, dude. Okay, let's do, we've got 5 minutes. Let me do a couple of quick questions and then we will get out of here, dude. Let's see. I did want to clarify one thing. So Foz SMMA says, he said, so what? He made $15K per month by Rank and Rent, then left his job. Someone approached him, and then what? What does Height Digital have to do with Rank and Rent? So let me just explain this to Adam. Tell me if I'm missing this. So Adam and I were we both were in a Rank and Rent group. We both saw the value in Rank and Rent. We liked the asset piece of it, all the stuff. Both of us, because we needed to pay bills, I didn't have a job because I tried to start a business that failed. I had to go and pick up SEO deals to pay my bills. Adam still had a job and he was picking up SEO gigs to quit his job. And so what happened is Adam had great success and he found his stride in doing the agency model, and he kept in with the agency model, and he went and he joined forces essentially with a company called Height Digital, which he's now an owner in. Whereas I went and I just stayed focused on the Rank and Rent. After a couple of years of realizing that I couldn't scale SEO, I didn't have the resources and the structure and stuff that he has with Height. So that's what we're talking about here. It's two completely separate things. Did I get that right, Adam?
Yeah. And I also, like I said, I have about 20 Rank and Rent websites that we're still making good money a month on. And I also own an auto glass repair company and a landscape design business that started as Rank and Rents that we turned into actual businesses as well.
Well, and the funny thing is that's literally a testimony. The reason, like, Adam was a classic example of so many people. He got in, he started building, and they kept telling him, build more. And he builds 200. And of the 200, he's got 20. Great. But again, the reason I'm teaching it the way I'm teaching it is because if you're going to build, you don't need to build 200 to have 20 that work if you pre-sell it. And so that's Adam is literally the exact reason why what I'm doing works is because there's so many people that follow that path. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, guys. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And the fact that you own a piece of Height is freaking amazing, because now you have that asset piece that a lot of agencies don't have, because you own part of the actual company, which is rad, dude. Okay. Let's see. Mona says, we're gonna get like 2 questions. When would it be the time to personal brand yourself? I'm guessing after we get a few clients, ? What would you say on that?
I'd say from the beginning, right? Like, I don't like the term fake it till you make it, but there is some truth and value into thinking of where you're trying to go. One of the things that has both helped me and hurt me is from the beginning, when I was doing no revenue, when I made that transition over to the traditional agency model, I started personal branding myself as the go-to digital marketer in my space, right? In my networks, all those different types of things, that was doing 7 figures a year. I wasn't telling people that I was doing 7 figures a year, but on the day-to-day, I was operating and doing all of the tasks that a 7-figure digital marketing agency owner would do. Now, where that failed me is once I hit 7 figures, I wasn't operating as a multiple 7-figure agency owner until about 6 months after I hit it, when I realized, crap, I'm doing all the same stuff that got me here, but what got me here isn't going to get me there. So I would start operating and building your brand and doing all of those different things. If you're serious about getting to that, whatever that next level is, I would start doing the activities and doing all the things that need to be done if you want to be that person.
I love that. Guys, I think it's this guy, Iman Godsi. I think is who it is. He's been like putting stuff on social media since he was like 14 or 16. And it's so cool because you can go and watch videos when he was like a gym guy, a gym trainer, and now he's making how many millions of dollars, and you get to see that. So start now, because even though some of that stuff you're gonna in a couple of years gonna, it's kind of cringy, it's also really cool to see how far you've come. And so I 100% agree with you. Start now and just share the things that you know that are true. You don't have to pretend to be balling. You don't have to go rent a Lambo. You just need to be you, and you need to share the things that you know that are true, and you need to share the things that you're learning and dealing with. And some of your content might not hit, some of it might, but you need to start now. It's kind of like these artists, right? Artists that, like, I'm talking about like rappers and stuff. The smart ones, they're putting out new tracks, they're putting out new music, every single week, because they understand that when they have that song that goes off, right? Jack Harlow had the song that went off in 2020, What's Poppin'. Once people, that song goes off and people are like, oh my gosh, who's this Adam McChesney guy? They can go and they can watch a year or 2 years worth of content of Adam McChesney. The problem is people are sitting there trying to have that viral piece of content every single time. And it's like, even if you have it, there's nothing else for them to consume. So it's like, you got to just start putting out consistent stuff that's true to you, because when that happens, when they discover you, now you've got this whole, using the artist example, discography that people can go and consume. So I totally agree with Adam. Start now. It's going to change. Your content today, Mona, is going to be so much different than it is in a year or in 5 years. And that is okay. And that is actually the beauty of it. So beautiful. Let's see what we got. Okay, I think that's it. Other than someone named Drywall Installation said, hey, Nick, how are you doing? I've seen Adam on my Facebook feed a lot. His content is great. There you go, dude. Drywall Installation. Adam's ready to hook you up with some digital marketing. Hit him up. Adam, what, like if people have, let's say, because we're focusing on rank and rent, right? But if people get an SEO deal, do you do any like white labeling, or what would you recommend on like outsourcing SEO? We'll end with this question.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me if we can help. Great. We white label for quite a few agencies actually still. Heights originally started as a white label agency for other marketing agencies and then transitioned to the franchise model. It's more of a case-by-case basis when we take it on, but feel free to reach out to me. You can go over to AdamMcChesney.com or find me on Instagram. That's going to be the easiest place, Adam L. McChesney. But feel free to reach out to me. If I can't help you, I can certainly point you in the right direction, depending upon what you're looking for. And we'll see what we can do to help you.
I'm going to drop it right now. MC H.
MCC HESNEY.
Let's see here. Okay, so I got ADAMMCCHESNEY.com, right?
Yep.
Let's go ahead and drop that link. And boom. All right, man. Well, Adam, thanks so much, dude. I appreciate you being on. And if anyone wants to, I would highly recommend following Adam. Even if you guys just follow Adam, watch what he's doing as much as like the things that he's saying. Watch what he's doing. And like, why did I just saw yesterday, you did a beautiful post about the baby moon and the whole thing. It's like, watch what he's doing and take a page out of his book. So Adam, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Take care.
I'll hit you up. See you, dude. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link one more time. Appreciate Adam being on. I'm going to drop the link one more time for you guys for our program. As I told you guys in the beginning, we're going to be making some radical changes. And if you guys are on the fence, I would most certainly not delay. Again, thank you guys. Appreciate you being on, every single one of you. I know you guys are busy. You have a lot of different things you could be doing with your time. It means a lot that you're on this call, and I will see you guys very, very soon.